Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WizHeads podcast. Today we have Brandon, RaeveDoctor, and Show, or Broccoli, joining us today. I am your host, BlooFusion, and today's topic is Wizard101 worlds, specifically ranking them into 3 different categories. So we're going to start with a general ranking, then based on the lore and story, and then replay value. We included Arcanum, Catacombs, etc., just because they're side worlds, and they have different loading screens, and they're kind of more than just a small area. So, without further ado, let's get started. But first, let me give my guests a chance to introduce themselves. Who would like to go first?
I know, my name Brandon.
God damn it. Okay, what's up, everybody? I am Brandon. I am currently the owner of the WizHeads server. With that, okay, that's all I have to say, honestly.
Okay, good.
I'm the RaeveDoctor. I'm one of the mods on the WizHeads server and also a content creator.
And does Show want to say anything? Perfect! Alright! So, as I said, my name is Blue. I haven't been in the server as long, but I am the social media head of this server. You guys might have seen me on Twitter and stuff. And also, I'll be editing our YouTube videos for us. You might have seen a little sneak peek. Not really sneak peek. We posted our first video yesterday. But we hope you guys enjoyed that. And without further ado, let's get started. However, before we do that, as promised in our Discord, which you guys do not have the link, I will post it in chat right now before I get started here.
By the way, I've written down order, so.
And if you're watching, and if you're watching us from YouTube, make sure that you check the links in the description. All of that stuff, including social medias, will be down below. So, as promised, we have a daily screenshot to show for you guys on stream. Today's screenshot comes from Mr. Morgram. Congratulations, he finally got his 5 damaged pet. So, can we give a round of applause for that? Congratulations. He worked very, very hard on that, so very, very well deserved. Give me a second. I am logging into my Twitch account because it actually won't let me type in chat without logging back in.
Got him. Got him.
Uh-huh. So, let's see, make sure that works. It might ask me to use my phone real quick. Yeah, that's fine.
I have so many screens open on my computer.
And I don't think I'm going to make any edits for the YouTube video, just so it's all natural, I guess. Show is shy. Yes, very shy. So here's the Discord link for anyone that's not in. And again, let's just get started. So let me remove the image. And so we're going to be going in chronological order of arcs and stuff.
I have it written down.
Yes. So first would obviously be Wizard City. So we're starting with general rankings, so just anything in general. It can be length, other things. Don't focus so much on the lore and then replay value, only because that'll be targeted in the next 2 rankings, but think of other factors such as like difficulty, what else? Difficulty, like general like mood when playing through for the first time, and all that jazz. So Wizard City, I would consider this a pog world in my opinion, but I'd love to hear what you guys would have to say.
I'll go first. So, Wizard City is the very first world that you come through in the spiral, obviously. There's a lot of redundancy in terms of the graphics, but then again, it's the very first world of the game. But as somebody who's like new to Wizard101, you're gonna see a lot of let me phrase it better. You're gonna be really impressed by like the graphics and stuff, and you're gonna be like, whoa, I'm in a Wizard101 world. I'm in a wizard school. You're gonna have that kind of impression of the game, and you're gonna have like a nice first impression, because it's gonna introduce you to the rest of the game, and it's a good foundation of a world, I guess. The one problem I have with the world is how redundant some of the textures are. Like you can see that the grass and like the tiles and stuff, they come from different areas. They're just recolored or something. And then there's lots of ghosts that use the same textures. I could forgive King's House for that because it's the very first world.
Yes.
So in my opinion, it's a good world. It's not a pog world, but it's a good world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So for me, I'm kind of on the same boat. Is when you first log into Wizard City and you go through the tutorial, like you see all this magic going on, and I just remember when I was a kid, I was always swept away by it because it was always like just magical. It's like, wow, I can't believe I can actually do this stuff. And when you kind of first start it, it kind of pokes at your imagination and it lets you actually really get into your character early on. I will say, yes, it is very redundant. Like, you see a lot of stuff over and over. I'm like, oh. But when you first play it, you don't really notice it. And it's like, you don't notice the busy work. It isn't until later worlds that you notice busy work. And for me, I would have to say, just like in general, Wizard City is a good world. It is a very good starting world to get you into the game and show you how everything is done.
Well, not to interrupt you, but that actually makes me want to ask, so like, think of like this, like, again, going back to your first time playing the game, as like an introduction to the world. At like, where do you think, if you were going back through the first time, where do you think like this would be placed for you back then?
Well, it would definitely be a Pog world because it's the only world you know. So. Yeah. But I don't have any memories of my first world because I played during beta when I was 8 years old. So.
But also I do have to give props to King's Isle. They did update all of the graphics and stuff and took a lot of time to redo all of that to make sure it's actually up to more quality. And it's honestly, the quality is obviously better than literally all of Arc 1 now. And so it's pretty amazing work that they had to do to go through all that, so I do appreciate it. But I am a man of the people, and so you both say it is a good world, so we will throw that down there.
Good world. And I do understand like why a lot of people would say it's a Pog world.
Yes.
It's just when it comes to multiple playthroughs, that's when I will have very choice words.
Yes. So obviously next we
is
Crocotopia. See, I'm already thinking about the next categories, and I'm already like,
generalizing the world is actually pretty difficult but when it talks about story and just going through it again, you can have very choice words.
Yes, so I will tell you right now, Croc is the world I've probably spent the most time in. For sure, as in hours and stuff, because back then when I played Wizard101 for the first time, I was complete shit at the game. I didn't know how to build a deck. I was a 10-year-old kid who didn't know how to play the game. I literally, even though I had a membership, I was literally stuck in Crocotopia. I could never get past it. I probably maybe got to Marleybone and maybe a character, but literally almost all my characters were just stuck there. And so, for me, and I didn't mind it, I think definitely the first area, the Pyramid of the Sun, is it called, right? Temple of Fire.
Or Pyramid of the Sun.
Yeah, that whole pyramid area. That was super boring. But I didn't mind the Sphinx. I think I've always enjoyed the Sphinx, a decent bit. I've never really minded the Sphinx, and I mean the Temple of Storms, right? Yeah. That I also never minded too much. Especially because it was an achievement when I got there for the first time, because obviously it took me forever to get through Croc. But in general, if I'm thinking about first timing stuff, I don't know if I would put it in it's a no, but I would put it definitely not above Good World. I think I would personally put it in a meh category.
Meh world, yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon, your thoughts on Croc?
Okay. This is just gonna flat out be negative.
And that's okay. We love a different viewpoint.
This world is so plain and colorless. It's so boring.
It's so very true.
It's so simple. And on top of that, the level that you go in there, you have to fight mobs that have 395 health without an AoE. It's a rough it's a rough transition from what Wizard City was, because it's a little more stressful.
I definitely think
you're gonna log in.
My person. Okay, yeah, no.
Let me finish. like you're gonna log into a level 10 Wiz, you're gonna be like, oh god, Krakatopia, and if you're doing it by yourself, you're gonna be like, ugh, I have to fight these all over. And honestly, I think most of the mobs are the same. Again, the textures are reused with all the Narinis and stuff, all that kind of stuff. It's just boring to me.
It's
So I would
definitely
say it's a no. That's my opinion on Croc.
it's definitely fun if you choose fire, ice, or storm, and you have to solo it.
Oh lord.
So for me, Krakatopia, the theme is definitely, yeah, see, that's the thing though. Soloing Karak as a death, it's not that difficult because death just doesn't make the game difficult at all because drains are a thing and they're the best thing to solo with. To be honest, the aesthetics is there. Like, it is a nice Egyptian world. Like if you like Egyptian mythology and that type of thing, like it might actually catch your eye or something. But other than that, it is a very plain world because it is just sand and sandstone. It is very cool that you get to meet the Order of the Fang and the actual balance teacher in the balance school because Arthur Weathersworth, or I think that's
Weatherfield?
The balance teacher in
Weathersfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he does say that he does bring balance stuff from Krakatopia, so it is a very nice callback. The only thing that I kind of wish they would have done in Wizard City to prepare people is make people do at least the first quest of Colossus Boulevard, because that's where enemies only have 180 health, and you do 2 at a time.
In my personal opinion, I think it would have been better if, like, for Colossus and Croc, I think it would have been better if they introduced the 2 enemy thing at Marleybone.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a better place to introduce it.
Or if not, do it at Temple of the Storms, or in Crocopactra's The Emperor's Retreat. So it makes that final dungeon more memorable, because the only thing I remember from that dungeon is I fight a lot of bosses, I do 3 puzzles, then I slap a bitch and she dies.
Like, as I was saying with, like, the Sphinx and stuff, the Sphinx felt boring, or sorry, not the Sphinx. Pyramid felt boring, Sphinx was decent, but then the Temple of Storms are so fast, it's not memorable.
Like, you go in 4 areas, and I bought all 4 areas.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm like, what was the point? I went in here to fight 4 bosses and left. What was the point?
Yeah, I think the whole crown, like, buying thing system is just honestly stupid.
But it does save you a lot of money.
It does. If you play very slowly like that, it does.
Yes.
But also, speedrun, haha.
But when it does come to the areas, the Pyramid of Fire, or the Pyramid of Sun, something of fire that is Pyramid, it's really good for story.
Yes.
The Sphinx with the arena. The arena was kind of my favorite area because I'm like, dude, this is cool. We actually have to make a name for ourselves before we can just fight the big guy.
Raeve, you're talking about the Throne Room of Fire, by the way.
Throne Room of Fire?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the Grand Arena in Sphinx.
No, yeah. I mean the zone with the Croco Sphinx, where you figured out the secret.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a really cool quest. I will give it that.
Yes, that was it lets you think that you're a detective. Yeah. And then the Storm place, the only time it was slow for me was when I was a Storm, and I forgot to put in prisms before a fight. That's the only time I remember that Storm place. But for me, I would say it's a decent world for the aesthetics. I think they nailed that, and also this is where almost every school gets Elemental Blade, Spirit Blade, and maybe Elemental
That's
Trap
actually a
Trap.
very good point that I didn't think about. The spells that you get in Croc are like some of the most useful spells that'll carry you throughout the rest of the game.
Oh my god, I just remembered something you forgot. You forgot Zigzag.
Oh yeah, Zigzag.
I
That is
forgot
in
this.
crouch.
I forgot
It is
the.
in crouch.
That is true. And all, well, no,
No,
well, Zig is
well,
that
you didn't count. You didn't count
like
Waterworks.
dungeons? Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I guess Waterworks really exists within Crab Alley, kind of though.
yeah, that is true. And Crab Alley,
It's
no
in
one.
it's in Wizard
The
City.
only
Yeah.
the only time I do Crab Alley is when I'm doing Quest Finder and I forgot to pick
I
up
mean,
the
well,
quest.
if we're being honest though, like I was looking at the other tier lists and like this one has like so many more than they did because they
Mhm.
like they missed out on like a lot of different ones. So this is still
Yeah.
bigger.
But actually, on a side note, when it comes to Zigzag, Lower Zigzag is a bitch. House of Scales is meh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I didn't have to do Lower Zigzag, I would not do it.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, Krakatopia for me is a decent world.
Okay, well, if we
Random
combine,
puts it in
yeah,
the
so,
middle.
yeah, so if we combine it in if we combine all three answers in the middle, then that would make it go into
Be
the
a
meh
meh
It would be
world.
meh.
Alright, next world
Is
is Muju.
Marleybone.
Marleybone.
Marleybone. Of course.
I
that
will
is
tell you
cool.
right now, I personally actually really enjoyed Marleybone, especially like for the aesthetic personally. I
Mhm.
haven't really heard too many people in this Discord talk about Marleybone. I haven't heard people hating it or haven't heard many people loving it. But I do think as of Arc 1, this and Mushu are probably like my favorite like aesthetics and like feels of the worlds, especially with like the court or not Chelsea Court, but like the main hub, like with the papers and flying around. I think all of that effect is just very cinematic, and I love the whole detective theme. It's just chef's kiss.
Yeah, with Sherlock Bones.
I wouldn't say this is definitely perfect, but I think for me this would be a good world personally.
Brandon.
My thing with Marleybone is that the aesthetic is really nice for me, and I like the detective thing too. But if you don't like the aesthetic of Marleybone, the world is very boring. It's very boring. It's very redundant. Like all the graphics you feel like you're in the same zone all the time. But that's if you don't like the aesthetic. Since I like how pretty the world looks to me, I don't mind it, to be honest. I would say it's a decent world, but a thing about the combat's kind of it's kind of tedious, to be honest.
It's
But
kind
yeah,
of
that's
Two point
kinda
yeah
tedious.
yeah 2 points I'd like to add to my statement about being Girl World, not Pog World. I will say, in my personal opinion, Marleybone has my favorite music out of all the worlds in the game.
Yeah,
It has
from
my
the-
Another thing about Marleybone is that there are some bosses in there that drop some really nice looking school symbol gear, but I don't know if that's what
But
we're
yeah,
gonna consider.
but yeah, Marleybone has my favorite music, but also like it's a well-known fact that Marleybone is the easiest world to get pulled in terms
Yes,
of mobs.
it
Like
is.
it is a known fact that Marleybone you will get pulled if you do not move slow AF. If you are
Especially
speeding through the
corners.
streets, yeah, you will get pulled by mobs super easily, and yeah. So that I just wanted to add that. So Rave, how about you, bud? Also, Brandon didn't really give his rating.
Yeah,
I said it was a decent world.
You said decent.
decent.
Okay.
Alright, so for me, Marleybone is definitely my favorite world in Arc 1.
Agreed. Yes.
I love the music. Like, the one thing I am a little salty about is we cannot get the Marleybone main theme that
Yeah.
it uses, but we have like a little off version of it. I'm like, no, I like the trumpets in the main theme. It's like, it's such a good song. And yes, it is a little boring if you're trying to speedrun the bitch. But after the halfway point, you kind of just start going through the areas fast, because it isn't until after Ironworks that the pace starts to pick up. Because Ironworks is basically the first dungeon that until then it's kind of a crawl, but after that it actually feels like you're going in fast. There are some memorable bosses like Meowiardi, like in the climb of Big Ben. That I always did like that, because I'm like, dude, it's an actual gauntlet.
In terms of early Wizard101, that was probably one of my like not like greatest achievements, but one of my like biggest memories.
Yes. And it also has it is the only world to have a dungeon that if you decline the quest, you can never enter that dungeon. and that is the pre-quest to Celestia. But that I do like, that they tried something new with it. But they learned it failed and they deleted it.
From the main quest line, yeah.
Yeah. And also the little side dungeon that you unlock at level 40, the like court area, the Queen's Court. It's interesting. Like, it is nice that they were experimenting with bosses that cheat, because that was the first time I remember that any bosses like actually cheated before Arc 2.
Yeah.
Like, I do remember, Malistaire before patch, when he would meteor you every round and had 100,000 health. That was really fun. But until he was nerfed twice, Marylebone is a really good middle world in Arc 1. Like, because most of the time you go through Wizard City and Crocotopia within 4 hours. If you're not 100% speed running it, if you're like going through it fast. Marylebone is, for me, I would say one of the 3 worlds that are going to be a Pog world for me. Marylebone, I just love the aesthetics, especially the top hat. Best hat.
Yes. And all of the references to Sherlock Holmes and all of like the other detectives like that.
Yeah, Sherlock Bones and Dr. Watson.
It's just really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the music is my favorite music in the entire game.
Yeah.
Easily.
I don't like the Queen's Court music. That's the only soundtrack of Marylebone I don't like.
Something that I think goes pretty underrated is actually how like creative Marylebone kind of is, in a way, because the fact that they literally like made 2 dungeons literally just the counterweights of Big Ben is so funny to me, and I don't know why. Also, the fact that that's like the dungeons that you can easily get scrap iron for is just chef's kiss as well.
And also, I actually just remember Marylebone is a connection between 2 worlds in Arc 2, Celestia and Azteca.
Yeah.
Because you have to go to the Royal Museum to enter Azteca.
Yeah.
So for me, Marylebone is a Pog world.
Yeah, I think for me, like, it's really hard, but like I don't want to put too many worlds up here, which is why I'm kind of like putting in a good world. And then Brandon, you said decent, right?
I said decent.
All right, then it's gonna have to go in the good section. For me, I think just because I'm in between, I think we're gonna put it before Wizard City though.
Yeah, for me, Marylebone is gonna be one of 3 worlds that I'm having Pog. So, alright, now it's Mushu.
So now we're moving on to Mushu.
Mushu.
So Mushu is my second favorite world in the arc. I think so. I've always loved the whole Zen aesthetic, and although I will say, at some points, especially in Crimson Fields it is, right, that huge dungeon, that dungeon just feels like a drag on me, and that, for me, kind of ruins the questing experience, in my opinion, sort of. Because if you don't have, like, a team that, like, goes through, then, like, the 4 dungeons just takes forever, and it's, I don't know. And I feel like some of the areas are unnecessarily large for walking. Like, if you don't have a mount, like, it's a lot of walking.
Yeah, that's one thing about Arc 1, is they are very bad about teleporter locations.
Well, luckily, Wizard City has them now.
Well, actually, no, Krog doesn't have teleporters.
Marylebone does. Marylebone does.
Yeah.
Marylebone does now, too.
Marylebone started the teleporters, and that was a trend that everyone loved.
Yes, Marylebone was the only world I think of the game release that had teleporters. Well, I guess technically Dragonspire has like the 3s, but those are just to the areas. So yeah, only. Well, no, Dragonspire has teleporters, but I don't know if they came out with released. Maybe they did.
Yeah, they did, because Dragonspire was, because when the game was released, it was only Wizard City, Crocotopia, Marylebone, and Mushu.
But yeah,
Dragonspire was the first DLC world.
Yes. Mushu was the original ending, so I'm also keeping that in mind. It was very weird that they didn't have Malistaire be the final boss when the game released, I will say that. I mean, I guess it was. I think it was very weird that Jade Oni was the original boss. I think that was just kind of a weird setup. I think they should have maybe waited to release the game until Dragon Spire was done. But that's just personally my personal opinion.
But that final boss was very difficult.
Jade Oni?
All four Onis.
Yeah, they were very difficult at the time. Yes. But in terms of story, well, I mean, we'll get to that. But like in general, it has my favorite aesthetic. But I think for me, because of its length and because of the unnecessarily large thing, I think for me it's a decent world. I know Alter is just like cursing at me right now. Or no, it's not Alter. Okay. Beef Jerky said Mushu's greater than everything. And again, everyone has their everything. Yeah.
Alright, so is it my turn to talk about Mushu?
Yes.
Yes.
I love this world so much. It is so pretty. I love the whole theme behind it with the samurai, the Onis, the Emperor of Mushu. I love all of it. I love every single aspect of Mushu ever. And by the time you get to Mushu, your wizard is very strong. Your wizard is like level 30. You're getting power creeps from your wand. Like if you do Mount Olympus, you get the Sky Hasta, etc. It is giving you decent damage, so it's not too difficult to play regardless of your school. Unless you're Death to Life and you don't have an AoE, but anyways.
That's besides the point.
That's besides the point. Yeah, and it's not as redundant as the other worlds. Hametsu Village, Hametsu Village kind of looks like some of the worlds, but then there's zones like the Cave of Solitude, where it's all those rocks in this cave, and there's this whole lake system, and that looks really nice. And then there's the ancient burial grounds where you go to the spirit world and you fight some boss like Tomogawa was his name or something. I love that. I love all of Mushu. I love every part of Mushu. If I had to play a world or visit a world again, like for another part or another expansion of that world, it would be Mushu. I would say it's a Pog world. I love Mushu so much. That's my thoughts on Mushu.
Yeah, for me, I'm basically the complete polar opposite. I do not like Mushu at all.
Oh my god.
But to be honest, I don't like the music. The fishing quest is atrocious and fucking difficult for it being a side fishing quest. To be honest, I just feel like the whole trip is kind of just stupid that we have to undo Malister's thing because he's like, hey, poisoning the Emperor, bitch. Because, like, that's what he's doing, is he poisoned the Emperor, so we had to clear his mind, body, and spirit. And that's why, because the first one we defeat is the spirit one, because we have to go to the spirit temple and do the 4 areas there and then that dungeon. Then we do the mind, which is to the Tree of Life, and then we finally defeat the body, which is the Jade Oni. I do like the 4 Jades, though. Jade Oni, the Death Oni, the War Oni, and the Plague Oni. I do like those Onis. Like, I actually think they were really cool. But them all spamming, weakness, that wasn't very cash money of them, in my opinion.
That applies to most of the bosses, though.
Yeah, but to be honest, the only enemies I remember in Mushu is the Jade Oni, the guy that gives you catch of the day, and that's about it.
I remember everything from Mushu.
For me, my personal opinion, Mushu is barely crossing Meh World, but if it didn't have like memorable stuff as like me farming Jade Oni for wooden keys, and actually no, Jade Oni is going in. It's a no because Jade Oni spamming death shields. I do not forget that.
Sounds like a personal problem to me, and I kind of agree with you on the lore. It's like, oh no, the Emperor is sick. Now we have to go in these gigantic zones, and we have to go clean his mind and his body and spirit with shrines. Like, I didn't like that part too much, but we weren't really discussing lore too much. So.
Yeah, but it's just weird. It's like, hey, go defeat this Oni and help unplague it. But one thing I actually do like about it is the double boss fights that you have to do in each thing, except for Greta.
Yeah,
like that. I thought was a cool. That was the coolest aesthetic that doesn't actually really show up again. Like, it shows up once or twice in the later world, like in Imperia, I think. Yeah, and
Crystallis
Crystallis.
with Ghost Dog and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, you don't really have double boss fights.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so what's your final ranking on Mushu?
It's
I
a
said
no.
it's a pog.
All
You said
right.
it's a no, and what'd you say?
I said decent, but I'm honestly I think just because for aesthetic reasons, because like Mushu is literally like my dream
It's
aesthetic of a world, I'm gonna put it in good, I think. Which
And
mean which mean
that's fine.
which means that it would probably go at the bottom of the good world section.
Yes.
Which is a-okay with me. So next, Dragonspire. I fucking
oh boy. I think it's mutually understood that we can just put this in the very last category.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But let's talk about it first a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
before you put it in, let's talk about it.
So okay,
What do you
honestly,
wanna say?
okay. So Dragonspire for me, even though it's the last world in Arc 1, it's the least memorable. As sad as that is, to me, like when I played through Arc 1, I can remember everything about these 4 worlds, but when it comes to Dragonspire, it feels like a fever dream. Like it and as Mouser for Last Boss, obviously I didn't play Mouser when he first came out. I'm sure if I played, which I mean I did, but I just didn't get that far because again I was a little kid, I didn't play it very much. But if I did at the time, then maybe it would have been more exciting. But it's just it drags on so hard, and like I get Mouser's whole thing is like, oh, I'm dragons. Oh, I miss being married, but it's just like that's a reference to Caramel if anyone hasn't done that yet. But anyways, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think there are good parts about it, I guess, because like I think it's cool the whole like lava thing. But I think in terms of the world, I think they could have been more creative. Like, I don't think everything had to be covered in lava. I don't think everything had to be red. Like, they could have had, like of different kinds of, like, dragon type things. Like, there's different kinds of dragons than just the fire ones. There's, like, the fey dragons that have, like, beautiful flowers and stuff. And it's, like, there's so many different kinds that it just pisses me off. that they didn't do more in terms of aesthetic
Well,
with this
but
world.
I understand why they did it because if I'm just gonna dip into a little bit of lore. When we enter Dragonspire, it's after I believe a few years has passed after the Dragon Titan was woken up and the Dragon Titan destroyed the whole world of Dragonspire, and that's why everything's covered in lava, and there's really no one alive.
And there's like cracks and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and also it is kind of nice when you do the time travel mission or the time travel.
Yeah, that is nice.
You get to
It's
see.
it's like the one zone that doesn't look like the same thing.
Mhm.
Every other zone looks like you're in the same zone. You feel like you're in the same zone for the whole game, besides that one part.
Yeah, for me, I love the aesthetics of Dragonspire, and it's only because I'm a little bit biased because I've been drawing, or when I started art, I started drawing dragons because I just thought they were cool, and I've been drawing dragons for about 7-ish years now, and I just love the aesthetics of Dragonspire, like just dragons in general, and also it has Lore Master.
I was gonna say, but that's also another trigger for me.
Lore Master.
That's Lore Master can be a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, I can't complain. I got Pigsy from it, but like also like
It's both.
It's
both. It's both good thing and a bad thing.
Yes.
The one thing I do really like about Dragonspire also is that's when Cyrus Drake actually finally starts warming up to you
and gets like
actually
character.
starts accepting you.
I will actually maybe move it up to a Emerald just for the fact that I feel like Dragonspire was like finally when the story got good.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we'll get to lore later because in terms of lore, Dragonspire is probably gonna be higher up on the list for this one. Just because again lore. But again, that'll be next one. But in terms of general, I think in terms of general, it's gonna be either a meh or no for me.
I'm gonna put in a little shameless plug for the Top 5 Doctor on Reddit because it was the very first world I did a boundary break and took photomancy
Nice.
of the Dragon Titan head.
Advertising.
But people got interested in it because they're
Yeah.
like, oh wow, I actually have never really seen the full details of the dragon. I've only really seen its eye and maybe like a tooth. And I was able to take a picture more of its head. And it's like, man, what other areas in Wizards 101 has King's outdone this? To where, like, yeah, you can see it, but what details are hidden? And also that final fight, like, at first, I remember the first time fighting Malistaire. I didn't realize the dragon behind it. I thought it was just stone, like, because that's what it looks like. The dragon Titan only looks like it's made of stone. And then when you actually get into the fight with Malistaire, you see the eye open up, and the eye starts looking around, and then that's like, holy shit, that's a living dragon. And also the aesthetic of raising a dragon and actually becoming a dragon rider is also very
That
nice.
was a very cool like scene thing that they did there. Yeah.
Mhm. But I do want to ask, have any of you guys done the dungeon right before the Great Spire? Where you have to fight a dragon or a baby dragon
That's
and
the
a
one.
wizard.
That's
Yeah.
the one where you get the quest in Polaris? Question mark.
Yeah, in Polaris.
No, I
Where
don't.
where if you do it, you get the Brandon jewel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't.
I
like
don't
that.
think I've
Dude,
done that.
I cannot solo that quest, and I'm like, this is a very hard, but my god, does the headpiece look good?
Yeah, it looks good. All right.
Yeah, so for me, Dragonspire, just the fond memories of finally beating Arc 1 and just the whole Dragon aesthetics, for me, it goes up to a good world. And the music is alright. It's just, there's some areas I don't like. And the one last thing I want to say about it is I love the stone roses. Like, they are actually difficult to find. Like, this is the first time a Z-Quest is actually difficult to find the stuff. And it's amazing that you get the stone rose after completing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 2 cents. For me, it's a good world.
It's a good world for you? Okay. Wow, Ray just suddenly bumped it up to good. Okay.
No, I bumped it up to meh or decent.
Okay, so for now we can agree that it's a meh world, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
because
but I'll
you
put it above Croc though.
Yeah.
You'll put it above Croc. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because Kronk isn't. Nah, fam, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
after
Dragonspire
is Grizzleheim.
Grizzleheim, Winter Tusk, yes. So took me a very long time to get through Grizzleheim, like all the way through.
Yeah.
As people know, I didn't finish like all of Grizzleheim until about maybe 3 weeks ago. I mean, I had basically done everything. I only had like 3 quests left, so I basically had already finished it. So I probably finished it actually more like a year ago, but or like 2 ago. But like, as in terms of Grizzleheim in comparison to Winter Tusk, I mean, it's helpful for leveling. I'll give it that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like every separate area doesn't feel that unique to me personally.
Mm-hmm. I really felt like the war zone dragged on a little too long.
Like, I feel like they could have cut it down to like not that many areas. I think it's cool that like everything unlocks at different levels because it makes like each area at a known challenge. So I do give it that. But when I think about Grizzleheim versus Winter Tusk, I know which one's better because I have done Winter Tusk on my storm, so I have done both. So but when it comes to Grizzleheim, for me, I don't think, just because of memories and like remembering how to play, I do like the whole like war barbarian aesthetic. I think that's really cool, and also I think the spells that you get are also pretty cool there as well, because like the spell quests that you get, those are pretty useful.
Yeah, that's also where Death gets Dark Pact.
Yes, sir.
For me, I think for me, I'd put it in decent.
You put it in decent?
I think so.
For me, one thing I really like about Grizzleheim is the deep forest kind of vibe you get from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You feel like you're on a on a faraway adventure. To be
Yeah.
honest, and I love that the fact that the world gives off that aesthetic. One
Yeah.
thing I do not like about Grizzleheim is that some of the enemies are kind of ugly. Like, no offense. Another thing about Grizzleheim is that the gear you get from there is ugly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
some of it's ugly. Some of it is nice, but some of it's ugly. Most of it's ugly, actually. What am I saying? So yeah, the main thing for me about Grizzleheim is the deep forest vibe. You're going in a deep forest. You're seeing all these woodwalkers and imps,
Mhm.
and you're seeing all these Grendels, and it's like if you got a membership and you go to Grizzleheim for the first time, you're like, whoa, this is really
Yeah.
cool. I like the music from it too. And
Mhm.
when it comes to Winter Tusk, wait, we're including Winter Tusk in this, right?
Yes, that's next. That's next.
Okay.
Not in this
Oh,
ranking. No, they're separate in this.
okay, so just Grizzleheim itself.
Yeah,
Just
just
Grizzleheim.
The
Grizzleheim.
one thing I do not like about Grizzleheim, well, besides the gear, is Nidavellir, where you have to fight the big guy with like 6,000 health. How are you supposed to do that when you're level 40?
That's one thing I do kind of like it is when you are about to start Winter Tusk, you have to do that dungeon. But it is nice that you can do the two little side dungeons. So the boss rush and or the elements rush and the labyrinth. Where if you defeat the two or those two people, the final area is actually a lot easier
Yeah,
because you only have to fight one or two bosses instead of all four brothers.
yeah, exactly. That's true. That's true. But yes, those are my thoughts on Grizzleheim. So I'd say Grizzleheim is a decent world as well. What about you, Rafe?
I agree. The clothes is shit. The clothing.
Okay, yeah, the clothes are shit.
The
Yeah.
storyline is shit. The mob enemies you fight is kind of shit. The music is it's all right. The only one I really like is the battle music, but even then it's all right. The only thing I do not like is each area is locked behind a certain level.
Yes. So if you want a quest, like then like you have to weigh in. Yeah,
Mhm.
it kind of
Yeah.
It gets in between. Yeah.
Things I do like about it is I really do like the spell quest because death gets dark pact, and balance gets elemental and spiritual diffusal.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only two good ones. The other ones are mandatory just to get later quest worlds like in Avalon.
I think it would be so awesome if they gave Rat to life.
Rat.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
gave rat spin.
Because I mean it is a
Fantastic.
relaunchable, but yeah, you know.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't like it at all because I just felt like you don't really do much in it. Like, yeah, you kind of stop a war, or the one dungeon I absolutely always remember is the infiltration one, where you have to go into the enemy's base and actually pretend that you're part of them just to sabotage everything.
That sentence kind of doesn't make sense. You don't do much. You only stop a war, guys.
Yeah, you only stop a war. But yeah, but it is an easy world for sure. Like compared to Dragonspire and Mushu, it is definitely a lot easier than them because you start at level 20.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I do like about it is you get to have a very small preview when you're in Wizard City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always remember saving up enough gold just to buy just buy the 3 gear pieces, the hat, robe, and boots from
Because it was so OP from levels like 5 to 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it just gave so much health. I'm like, dude, I'm a god.
Yeah, I remember that too. I have fun.
But to be honest, Winter Tusk is definitely the superior brother.
Yes.
But I would put it at a decent world too.
Oh, okay. So we all agree. All right.
It's a decent world. It has goods, but it has a lot
It
more
has
bads,
beds,
and
yes.
the bads kind of keep it from being a good world.
So obviously we're going to Winter Tusk. I remember doing Winter Tusk. I mean, obviously I've only done it once, so I'm very excited to do it again on my max life. Which, I mean, it'll be super easy, but that's besides the point.
Don't forget the tower spam though.
But I had really fond memories when I did it for the first time on my storm. I got through it like probably like the fastest at the time. It was probably the fastest I'd ever gone through an area. Obviously, it's not as long as a full world because obviously it's half of a side world, but so it's really only half a world when you think about it. But I remember getting chills when I found out for the first time that Grandmother Raven was like the narrator. I got chills. I was like, this shit is insane. I got fucking chills. And then obviously you can see like when she breaks. Oh my god, I got fucking like in terms of lore, we'll get there. But this is probably in general for me. I mean, I would say this is definitely the best side world in the game. Yeah. So for me, I'm putting it in Pog. That's just me. Just because I remember that moment. Chills everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I remember that final dungeon too.
Anyone else?
Winter Tusk, for me it's a love-hate. In terms of gameplay. Because if you're soloing it, you're gonna cry. My storm, when I soloed this on my storm, I cried. I cried because I was a noob. But if you're good, if you do with somebody else, and both of y'all are like stomping through it, you get so much XP so fast. And another thing about Winter Tusk, some of the zones are pretty. I like the sky in Winter Tusk. If that, I like the sky in Winter Tusk. The sky, how it looks and stuff.
Yeah, the sky box.
Yeah, and Nastron is a very good place to buff people for XP too. And let's not forget that level 56 crafted gear is so good. It's good because it's like early waterworks gear. If you're a crafter or you record reagents and stuff, it's really easy to get, honestly. And okay. Most of what I said is like gameplay stuff. I don't like the combat. I don't like some of the things the minions do, like the earthquake, the smoke screen, the tower shield spam. That stuff's annoying. So what I'd say about Winter Tusk, I don't get excited to do it unless I'm questing with somebody. So I'd say it's a little difficult. I love certain parts about it. I hate certain parts about it. I would say it's a meh world. It's a meh world. Yeah.
For me, I do like where you get to meet all 4 of the giants, the last basically 4 remaining giants, other than Ymir himself.
Yep.
And it's nice how you had to do each one differently. Like none of them were the same, and you didn't actually fight them until the very final dungeon. And that's one thing I kind of liked. I'm like, oh, wow, it's actually not all just fighting. It's like, oh, here's a big guy. Looks like we're going to be fighting them type of thing. And to be honest, that is one thing I do like about Winter Tusk is the crafted gear. And definitely the final dungeon, where it actually feels like you kind of need to hurry or a bunch of bad shit's going to happen.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, because they're waking up Ymir. And that is one cool thing. And that's also another thing that I like about Dragonspire is it's also kind of the same feeling with the Dragon Titan. And like it's a very nice world for that, and it's a very short one, but also we can't forget gold farming.
Oh yeah, Asterisk.
Yeah.
Calfang. Gotta remember him.
Yeah, for me, it goes to a good world because no matter basically what level you are most likely coming back to it for some reason. It's majority gold farming, but it is good to just walk around, look at the frozen aesthetics, and all of that type of stuff.
Okay, so I think, well, you said meh, Brandon, right?
I said it's my world, yeah.
Okay, and then I said Pog, you said good. Okay, so it'd go like middle well, we said meh, so like, go like.
It
Like-
could go after Mushu.
Yeah, I was thinking so, cause yeah, right next to Grizzleheim. Yep.
Yeah.
Just so we can be. The
Alright,
So, next would be
after
Aquila.
that- Well, for me, I wrote down Wisteria, then Aquila.
Oh, right. Okay. Sure. So people forget about Wisteria 24/7. I
Mhm.
feel like no one does it. But can I just say,
Belladonna Crisp.
I feel... Belladonna
Uh-oh.
Crisp. Belladonna Crisp. I personally have always loved Wisteria. I don't get the hate. I've always enjoyed questing there, and I don't know why. I've always loved Wisteria, and people are probably like, "You're so weird," because everyone hates this world. And like, but for me, I don't know why. The whole Spiral Cup and like the piggies and Belladonna Crisp, they're just so good. So for me, this is 100% Pog. But that's just because that's my personal opinion. I know people hate it, but for me, I love this fucking world, and I don't know why. I'm weird. Go on.
Okay, Wisteria for me, I get why people don't like it. First of all, it's a side world. You only get 2 levels worth of experience if you started at the right level.
Oh well, it's
and you get
super
1 training
short.
point.
Yeah, it's super short. Yeah.
You do a whole world for a training point. That's what people don't like about it. Some parts of it are pretty. Some parts of it are nice. Some parts of it look a little boring, to be honest. Some of them I don't like certain things about that world. The headmistress is not one of those things that I don't like. Just saying. But yeah, for me it's a meh world. To be very honest, I don't know. It's just not too memorable. It's just like a comic relief kind of thing. You know, you go against a Spiral Cup full of cheaters. You kick their ass because you're the main character of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it was for me. It wasn't too much, so I'd say it's a meh world.
For me, it is a very memorable world. 3 words. Tower of the Elephant.
Yes.
Oh god.
Dude, you do not understand the pain when the max level was 125, 4 max level wizards going to do the dungeon because we think, oh yeah, it would be fun. It would be easy. 4 hours just to do the Boris fight. My god.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was not fun because of his cheat to basically, if you fizzle, you get Skeletal Dragon, and it's an enchanted Skeletal Dragon that does a shitload of damage. I love the Spiral Cup Gauntlet, or the Spiral Cup, like, just as a housing item. I think it looks so cool. And I like that, and I like also seeing the young pictures of Merle Ambrose and Malistaire and Diego.
And I personally really like all of like the alternate universe type teachers that they made in a way, because that's kind of what
like
I
the
love.
Tempest magic and the Earth
Yeah,
magic
like
and stuff.
I loved that
That's kinda
stuff.
interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
at
imagine
first,
if
I
it was
thought...
actually learnable.
I thought those were going to be the new classes, or the new schools that we would go to learn new spells. I was sadly mistaken. The only thing I do not like, that I really hate about Wisteria, is the Leafmen. They the Leafmen, the big, tall,
those crazy
giant,
guys.
yeah, the ones that always spam Death Shield
Yes.
at round.
Yes.
That was the bane of
Wow,
my
it seems
existence.
like you really don't like when people cast Death Shield. I wonder why.
I wonder
When
why.
when you're solo death without Scarecrow, it pisses you off.
Yeah.
Understandable.
But for me, Wisteria is definitely a Pog world. And you probably already know why, because it has the best headmistress that is the best one to be calling mommy, known as Belladonna Crisp.
All right.
Oh my.
God damn it, Brandon! You could. God damn it! If you had just said Pog.
Okay. For your guys' sake, it's a good world, okay? You can put it in
Let's go! Wait, I can tell you right now, people are gonna be pissed at this. People are gonna be so pissed at Wisteria. People are gonna be so mad. Oh my god, people are gonna be so mad. But Belladonna Crisp though.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's a good thing
he carries it
As
from a decent world to a Pog world.
As a gay man, you gotta appreciate
You gotta appreciate.
You gotta
them.
appreciate. You gotta
It's
appreciate.
good polygons.
You gotta
It's
appreciate
good
the
polygons.
Oh,
That
Lord.
loading. She.
Alright.
All right. So
Alright,
next,
So that's everything in Arc 1?
Aquila.
No, Aquila. Aquila is the final thing to Arc 1 to carry us over to Arc 2.
Yes. So I think just because of its utility, and I have also always been a fan of like the Roman aesthetic and like the gods and goddesses. Like even outside of Wiz, like that's just something I love.
Greek mythology is
It's
best mythology.
I'm sad this wasn't a full fleshed out world though. I'm gonna be completely
Yeah.
honest. I
That's
think
something.
I love
that's
this
something
world
everybody
so
has an issue
much.
with.
And oh my god, and they didn't even do it in Pirate 101 either. They did the same thing. And it just really pisses
they
me
made
off.
it. They in Pirate 101, it's a whole world actually.
Oh, is it? I thought it was just the one like Coliseum area. Okay.
No. Oh, you're thinking of pet training? No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I really wish Aquila was its whole world because again, I just think it's so creative. I think if they were to ever make another side world, I would really love them to expand on Aquila so much. And like, yes, even if it was like a level 30 world, give or take, because obviously that's when you start Mount Olympus. Like even then, I wouldn't care because the story would be so good, and like carrying from dungeon to dungeon, like actually having to do things. I mean, doing things in between Mount Olympus, Tartarus, and Poseidon, like people might get annoyed at that, but like just think of how good it could be. Ugh. But I love this world as a world in general. Because we're doing this in general, for me, it's going to Pog because, again, it's just, it has the aesthetics and the utility that Mount Olympus has and Tartarus has. The utility that it has is, like, incomparable to anything at Wiz at that level. In terms of utility, it has to be Pog, and I would say above Wisteria for me.
Dude, Sky Iron Hosta carries you to level 100.
Oh,
It does.
It does.
It really does.
So I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about that. Sorry, I just love it.
Okay. For me, Aquila, they could have expanded a lot more.
Oh hell yeah!
And that's a very obvious thing.
Yes.
I hate that it's just, yes, I'm Zeus, I challenge you. Yes, I'm Poseidon, I challenge you. Now all three of us challenge you. Like, I don't like that. I think it should have been, a whole world by itself. Like, there's a problem going on up in the immortal, like, in the whole immortal scene, like young wizard.
Someone's actually tampering with the immortal game. Yeah. You have to fix.
Yeah, that would have been a great idea. That like a lot of expansion could have been there. That's what I mean. And one good thing about Aquila, well, no, two good things about Aquila. One, the Sky Iron Hasta. Two, it's a really good source of amber. But the gear you get from those dungeons are not good.
Other than
They're not preferable.
other than Zeus gear / Senator's gear, depending on if you want accuracy or power pip. That's really the only gear you need to get. You don't really need to get Tartarus or Aquila, or not Aquila, Atlantis. Atlantis, you just do it just to get to Tartarus.
Yeah.
And Tartarus, the only thing you really need in Tartarus is only if you're going for crit, and that's the Hades staff.
But it's not even worth to go for Tartarus gear because 10 levels after, you're just gonna swap it out for Darkmoor.
Yeah.
So there's not much use for the world itself, except for maybe the Zeus gear if you want an early head start with like power pip chance, or you want the Hasta, of course, or you want Amber. Those are the three things you go there for. Amber, an early start with Zeus gear, and Sky and Hasta. That's what you go there for. So I'd say Aquila is a decent world for giving the wizards like a kind of support system to go to for like some buffs, some useful things.
Okay.
So stuff I like about it. It has really good dungeons that you cannot solo at the level.
Exactly.
You can only solo it if you are around max or level 100. That's when you actually can start carrying people through it.
Yeah.
But my excitement when I found Gladiator without hitting level 90 and without getting the side quest for it, that was like, oh my god, dude, there's another boss here. Running in, they all have 8 or 6 power pips. I'm like, I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Yeah. That's like stuff like that I liked. The side quest there are actually really good because, well, the only really good one is the level 91. For Kronos and Gladiator, depending on which one you want to fight. The Squid, that's an okay one. It's all right. I just don't really like anything Aquila. The one thing I do like in Aquila, or not Aquila, Atlantis, is the Sirens puzzle. That one, like, you actually have to do what, or you actually have to look to complete the puzzle. Because I remember doing Aquila first and fucking up the puzzle and not knowing what it was like. Ooh, shiny buttons. Let's press all of these and fucking up the puzzle. I will say I do like that they experimented with the very first moon enemy in Mount Olympus. When you have to go to the night chamber and you fight the moon enemy, the Centaur Hunter lady. Where, because that's when you learn, it's like, oh, she resists life, fire, and myth. Or no, storm. It's like, oh, that's interesting. It's 3 classes that they can all each use their prisms and get around it. That is one thing I like. And also, you know, the housing items, like for the Zeus Skyfather housing item, the Aquila one, and I don't think there is. Oh yeah, there is a Tartarus one right before Cerberus. Like before you go into the fight, if you take that left, you can get the Hades one. Man, Cerberus is an annoying boss fight even at max level.
Yeah, it is. I hate it.
And one last thing, or actually 2 last things. I really love the revamped gear that they did for the level 90. Like the revamped Zeus gear, the revamped Poseidon gear, and Hades gear. I think those 3 gear pieces look really nice. Like, they look really good. Especially the Zeus and Hades. Poseidon, he can kind of, you know, fuck off. We immortals are infallible. Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And
Most people don't like.
Yeah, Poseidon's annoying, to be honest. And the last thing, shameful plug again, the photomancy boundary break of Aquila. One of my most liked ones, and it's only because of that 2-headed dragon.
Yeah, that dragon is cool.
It was really cool to look to see how they made the illusion to make it look like it was 3D.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish they expanded more on it, but that's whatever. KingsIsle always doesn't listen to the fan base, so I'm not surprised.
I know, if we tell them to expand Aquila, they're like, never heard of it.
Yeah. For me, Aquila, it's going into the decent world for me because, yes, it is good utility. It is very good of what it gives. But my god, Gladiator and his natural attack that puts on a -75 weakness, you can just die with that. Whoa, shit.
Okay, so where did Brandon place it?
I placed it in decent world because of the things that allows you to
we'll
get
put
from
it. Yeah, we'll put it like there.
But yeah, they did do a good job with the aesthetic. I fucking love Greek mythology.
Yeah.
It is my favorite mythology.
In terms of design, they did a great job. I just wish in terms of questing and expansion they should have done.
I honestly do wish that they did expand.
So because we are already like 50 minutes in, so if we could try to speed up a little bit.
We're 1 hour and 16 minutes, actually.
We're 1 hour and we've covered
Basically.
Arc 1. Okay,
yes.
so
all right, speed run Arc 2.
All right,
and we can
so
talk about Arc 3.
all right. So I don't actually even have much to say about this next world. Zafaria,
Right,
I don't have too much to say.
Celestia.
Oh, I'm dumb. Okay. Well, then I won't have much to say about the next one. But Celestia, I don't think I have too much to say about this one either. As a first Arc world, it's kind of I think in comparison, I think it's probably my least favorite out of the 3 starting one. Yeah, well, it definitely is. Out of the 4 arcs that we've had, four arcs that we have, this is definitely my least favorite of the starting worlds. I don't think I would say personally it's a no, because I never found too much of an issue with it. But I think for me, I'm gonna put it meh.
You're gonna put it in meh?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Celestia, it's an underwater themed world. They could have done so much more with this. I hate that most of the underwater like aesthetics that it's supposed to give off is from caves.
Yeah.
That
had
is
some
true.
open ocean stuff in it or something. That would have been so nice. But one thing I like about Celestia, you get astro magic. You get
that's the only good thing.
Astral
about
Schools,
Celestia.
yeah, Astral Schools.
Yeah, that's what you get from Celestia.
That
The
actually,
final boss
that
isn't
actually,
all that.
considering this is general, maybe that actually might bump it up to decent for me.
But yeah, what was I saying? The final boss isn't all that. The zones aren't all that. Everybody hates Crustacean Empire. That's all.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd say it's a meh, or it's a no.
Well, I would
It's a
say
no.
I don't think it's a no for me, only because again, Astro Schools. And if we're thinking
Yeah.
about it general, I think it doesn't deserve to be down there, just because Astro Schools is literally what makes the final levels for the most part. So, for me, it's meh. Just
The
for
only
that
good thing I have to say about Celestia is favorite battle music out of the whole entire game. Celestia is my favorite battle music.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Next to Battle of the Bands. Battle of Bands is pretty good.
I've never heard that.
Other than that, Celestia is a piece of shit. Like, I do not like Celestia at
So
all.
we agree that Celestia's a meh, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
The only other good thing is Reagent.
where do you think we should place it though? Do you think above?
Above Croc.
Above,
Just
above
for the Astral Schools, I think it deserves to be above Croc. Okay,
Alright, Zafaria.
Zafaria. So I already said I don't have too much to say this. For me, I think I'm just gonna say it's decent because I don't find too much of an issue with it. I think Zafaria. Again, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think it feels kind of short, which I don't mind. And the introduction of Morganth, I think, could have been better in this world, and I don't think it was fantastic. Mirror Lake, I think, is a lovely aesthetic, though. I will give it that. So for that reason, just because I don't hate it, I don't love it, I'm gonna put it in decent.
Okay. Zafaria is really pretty for me. It's really pretty. I like the story. Well, no, I don't. Okay. I like certain parts of the world. Like I like Drum Jungle. I like Savannah. I like Zamunda. Those worlds are really pretty for me. By the time you're in Zafaria, you have water scare, and your crit's gonna be at the point where you're gonna stomp those people. You're gonna stomp those enemies hard. So it's a nice smooth experience for me, to be honest.
Isn't it like a pure 50-50 crit chance though at that level now, considering with the new level changes?
Remember it's an early Arc 2 world, and that's when you get Waterworks Scare. So you can be a storm with like 130 damage from Waterworks Scare, and you can just one-shot everything in Zafaria. So it's smooth, and not just for Storm. It's smooth for other schools too, because the bosses don't do much damage. They don't have that much health, and you're most likely gonna crit through them. So it's a smooth world, and it's pretty, and I like Zafaria, so I'm gonna say it's a good world.
Okay.
I love the combat music from it too.
That is true.
So yeah.
Yeah, Zafaria does have good.
I do have good memories from Zafaria. Yeah. Again, I don't hate it, I don't love it. But Raeve, you go.
The only good part for me about Zafaria is Elephant Graveyard.
Yeah, that was a very that's true. Again, I just think I don't hate it, I don't love it. I think there's good parts, there's bad parts.
For me, it was gonna be a meta world until you mentioned Morganth. I'm like, hormones, shut up, and now it's a good world.
Okay.
It's a good world.
Alright.
Morganth is A tier waifu.
Okay, so let's put that, I think just
above Winter Tusk.
Yeah, I think just because it's the full world, I think it deserves to be above those two.
Yeah, Zafaria, it is mostly a smooth world.
Okay, so next is Avalon. Avalon is my favorite world aesthetically in the game. I've always loved this kind of medieval thing. I mean, obviously, I kind of talked about that, or we kind of talked about it with the Grizzleheim, but it takes what I love from Grizzleheim and
amplify it.
And Aquila, kind of, because like it kind of has like the more like not like it's more fantasy medieval than like medieval, and I fucking love it. Avalon feels long, especially like with the different areas and stuff, but in terms of aesthetic in general. And also, I love the King Artorias dungeon. I thought it was so creative. And then going back with, like, the Morgan thing, I think it was just super creative. Avalon, in terms of like main questline worlds, like it's not my number one because we'll get to that. But I think it's definitely at least good for me, if not lower Pog end. So I think I'm gonna say like top tier good Pog. I'll figure that out when everyone else gets there.
Okay, for me, Avalon, it's pretty. It's a pretty world, and I love how you go from what's this thing? You go from Caliber and you go to like, what's the name? How you go to High Road, then you go to Carolion, the Wild, the Weird. I love how the deeper you go is like the more twisted it seems.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how to say it. Yeah,
No,
I
you're
like
definitely
that.
right,
I like
yeah.
that part of it. One thing I don't like about Avalon, the bosses, like from Zafaria, the bosses' health bars inflate a little bit.
They are huge.
They
Their health is ginormous in Avalon in comparison to any other world. It's actually
Good,
ridiculous.
it's not just me. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
So
Azteca says hi, but you know.
Yeah, but
We'll
that's
get to
Azteca. That's definitely going into
We'll
get there.
We'll get there. Don't worry. I'm sure any Wizard101 fan. No, I'm sure any Wizard101 fan is gonna have the same opinion that we have on Azteca coming up soon. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, that is next world.
Yes, sir. So that's for me. Avalon is a decent world because it's pretty, but the bosses are challenging and
They
tough.
are.
And
Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, like challenging bosses can be cool because of course, like people think Wizard101 is just a kick game, but sometimes
and
bosses can be
look at Imperia and Caramel. Those
Yeah.
have actually challenging bosses, unless you 4-round them like me and Motion did.
Yeah.
Then you don't see the challenge.
Then you don't see the challenge. Well, yeah. Okay, so it's a decent world for me.
For me, Avalon is definitely a Pog world because I am very biased because one, I dress up as a plague doctor for the Renaissance Festival and Halloween, so I love medieval.
Yes.
Medieval fantasy. 2, dragons. 3, I am extremely biased because of one single badge. Knight of the Silver Rose.
Yeah.
I have it engraved on my class ring. That's how much I like it.
Wow.
And also, I just fucking love Vitorius.
Yeah.
I will get into words about him when we get to Azteca because of the spell. But I just love defeating the Pendragon and reversing Artorias. I thought the gimmick was kind of cool, where if he used the Sword of Kings auto attack, he attacks himself. That's a decent kind of little shake up on the bosses. But the 2 dragons after that, Earthquake and Tower Shield, my favorite.
Yeah.
Medusa too.
Yeah, there's also
Medusa. In terms of Avalon, I feel like for me, that's when I was finally like, holy shit, this is hard.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the first world, like at least in terms of like when I was questing through, I was like, god damn, this is actually really hard.
But also, though, you do get the actual useful utility spells.
Yes.
I.e., Juju, Detonate, Virulent Infection.
Avalon spells are probably the 2, like, again, you said utility, like, probably those 2 quests are
best utilities.
Yeah, for late game.
Class.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good world?
For me, it's Pog.
And then for me, it's like mid both. So I think we're probably gonna put it like somewhere top
above
here.
Wizard, above
I would say, yeah. It's basically we all have good thoughts about it, and it's and I have it as a Pog. So yeah, I see it as going to basically high good.
Yeah.
All right. Azteca, my god.
Alright, so we're just gonna throw that hippity hoppity down here.
Yeah, it's a no.
It's a no for us. Do we even need to go into detail? Anyone who plays Wizard101 knows why we don't like this world.
Yeah. The only reason why for me it is a meh world is the spell King Artorias. That is the only reason why I have some resemblance or some liking to Azteca is Sharpened Blade, Potent Trap, Radical, your class aura, and King Artorias.
Yeah,
that's
those
the only.
really
those are the only saving things of Azteca. But even then, everything fucking shits on Azteca.
That's so true.
Extremely
Okay.
long story? No, thank you. The only thing I did like about it is they basically give you a preview to Darkmoor by reviving Malistaire. That's the only that's the only good thing. All right, let's move on to Chrysalis.
Yes.
All right, so Chrysalis for me, I don't hate it as much as I hate Azteca. For me, I don't think I'd put it above. I don't think I would put it above decent. I don't think it. I mean, I love the characters and the lore, especially in Chrysalis. Like the whole like last area when I did it was, oh my god, I was like in love. But then there's the galleries. Anytime I think about the galleries, I literally want to stab myself. And having to freaking wait like 30 minutes to find one person to do galleries with was just like literally just sitting there being like, wow.
Yeah, because no one does galleries. Everyone does Morgan.
Let's not forget the Great Beast, that ship.
Yes, that also was. I mean, that wasn't that for me. I found a group pretty instantly at the time. I thought it was cool. I thought, okay, as an aesthetic, Chrysalis I think is actually pretty cool. Like the whole skull isle, like this whole skull cave thing that they had, and like I think honestly, Chrysalis has some of the best characters. In terms, like best characters in the game,
Divine Whiteheart.
No, I think like Divine Whiteheart with the plus 10 damage.
You know what kills
20
this world?
resist.
Yeah, pretty pog.
The thing that kills this world
is two parts.
How long it is.
Yeah, the fact if it were
or is it almost 200 or over
almost
200?
It's 300.
It's like what?
No, I think
I thought it was like 198.
No.
Okay. I'm going crazy then.
I think
no.
It's slightly
past 300.
but it's long.
But it is a long road.
But in my personal opinion, I quested through Chrysalis pretty fast. I mean, I basically did all of part 2 because on election day I had nothing better to do. I'm being completely honest. I literally did all of part 2 like on election day because I was stressing and I was literally just playing. So I mean, I guess that was like a fond memory. I mean, election day wasn't fun, but but we're not gonna get into politics. But But oh my god, I don't know. I liked it, and the Queen Bee. Queen Bee, second form, shall I say? Second form, not the first.
Queen Bee sucked. Queen Bee sucked.
I don't know.
She blew.
But for me, I think I'll put it meh, because again, it's long, but like I don't find it like it's definitely not Azteca worthy of being that low. It definitely does not deserve to go below Azteca. That's all. Well, and plus,
the reason why Chrysalis is so much better than Azteca, even though it is basically 10 to 20 quests longer, is you get shadow magic. Let's go.
Yeah.
The thing that is the most broken thing in Wizards101 to ever be introduced. Shadow magic. And the only saving grace that Chrysalis has is the polymorph PvP spells, aka Green Oak and Shift Ogre. Those are the only 2 spells that anyone actually ever uses. Like, yeah, you get the oddballs of the other ones, but other than that, Shadow Magic, it's a meh world, but the Shadow Magic alone puts it up to decent. And just the Morgan fight. 4 waifus in one area, come on. It's hard to beat.
And I also remember seeing the cinematic for the first time of her falling to the pit. I was like, oh my god! I was like, holy fuck! That also was a very fun memory, because obviously I didn't play, so like watching like the whole thing, oh god.
Yeah.
Also just, I think, would I say best ending world?
It's good for ending the arc and revealing Old Cobb. That was a good reveal.
That dungeon, I was shooketh because even though like I knew who Old Cobb was, like I obviously only did Chrysalis recently, and I had never seen the dungeon where like you get Old Cobb from like the grave. When I saw that, I was like, I was like when I saw the cutscene for the first time, I was like, wait, this is how he's introduced. What the fuck? And I again chills, just like Winter Tusk chills. So you're right. I think just because of that memory and everything, decent probably for me as well.
Wait, so there were did he like say 3 worlds in the end? Because I know he said Polaris, Mirage, and I don't know if he said Imperia
He
though.
did.
Who
He did? So he
Mhm.
says all three?
Yeah, he says all three.
Okay, so then yeah, that's alright. I wasn't sure
It
if
was
he
a
did
great
that.
setup. It was an
Mhm.
insanely good ending, for sure.
Yeah.
I would say,
It-
yeah, probably my favorite out of the ending worlds.
Yeah, for me, it's a good, decent world.
Actually, I don't know.
Yeah,
Imperial is
it
also
gets
pretty-
long, but you get shadow magic, so it gets you it kind of boosts up. Like it's like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I got shadow magic. Let's go.
Okay,
Type
how
of-
about you, Brandon? So we both say decent. What do you got to say, bud?
Crystalis?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said it's mess, so you can put it low decent.
We could put it
Yeah.
below Crystal. I'm AFK.
Right. Darkmoor.
Yeah,
Wait,
Dark.
oh,
No,
Darkmoor.
Darkmoor. Yeah, below Polaris.
Darkmoor.
Okay.
All right, we can all say this is good worlds because
I think
the
so, too.
the gear,
And the
is
spells,
just
and the
too-
spells,
yeah.
and
Gear and spells is too
no, the spells
essential.
is too pog. You got Hungry
Mm-hmm.
Caterpillar, literally the best hitting spell for life. Literally
Mhm.
carries them throughout the rest of
Cthulhu.
Call of
You get to
Lulu,
you get to
Bugs.
summon
You get
Cthulhu.
bugs as well. Like
Mhm.
all of those spells are
Pre-
iconic, except for Gaze of Fate.
Pre-nerf bugs. Pre-nerf bugs. Pre-nerf Cthulhu. Best animation. Yes, it takes forever, but my god, it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree with you. I think it's good. I think middle good.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's middle good?
I think like above
think
Safari. I think like above Safaria.
For me, I think it's yeah, it's above Safaria.
That's what I
Because for
would
me, how my rankings are is I have Safaria lower than Winter Tusk. So, but yeah, definitely the utility is too much.
Too much.
Too
It's-
much.
You literally have to do it just to get the spell. You literally have to do it. Like you don't even if you don't want to go for the gear. I mean, you're an idiot. But like,
Yeah. Well, okay. Some classes can't get the gear.
Well, they
it
can go
is
for
actually
Croc and stuff.
It's actually objectively better to get
Croc
Rattle
and stuff.
Robe and.
but like at least you put the second.
but, yeah.
At least get to the final area just so you can
Yeah,
get the
Dark
spell.
Lore.
Just get
Mhm.
like at least. Okay, so next,
Dude,
Polaris.
Shade on Shade has probably put an impact on me just for what I name my pets because every pet I like is Baron Von something. It's always Baron Von something, and it's because of Shane Von Shane, and also it's the only place to where you can get Monster Mash. What isn't that a fun time?
All right, so now we have. Well,
I also.
would we
I also
say
have to
no?
just
I'd say
clarify
Polaris
that,
comes
though.
first. No, Polaris definitely comes first because you don't
Yeah,
unlock
Polaris.
Arcanum. Okay.
Oh wait, we're doing Polaris now.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Arcanum is
because,
you unlock Arcanum
uh,
in Polaris.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Polaris, my favorite world of all time. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah.
It has the story. It has the characters with comedic value at the perfect moments. Like
Ivan.
yes, Ivan is best boy.
Ivan.
I remember starting Polaris. They're like, when I told people, I was like, as of right now, I just love like all of like Arc. Like I just I haven't found like Arc 2 like as interesting. And people are just like, just wait till you get to Polaris. Your life will be changed. And man, was it changed! I quested through that shit faster than any. I think that's the fastest world I've quested through. Obviously, it's the shortest world I think in the game, right?
It is.
Other
It
than
is one of the
other
shortest.
than Wisteria and Winter Tusk, but other than that, then it's the shortest world again. Shortest main coastline world, but it's so fun. It's so
I'm
much
pretty
fun.
sure so many people love it, only because of the aesthetics of the gear. Because
That too.
do you know how many people I've seen with that one robe from Polaris? You know, the Raps robe. Like you know, or it has like the All right, so you know the gear that you get for starting Caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That gear set.
Oh, I only remember that.
Like
Imperial.
that robe, like I've seen it almost everywhere, but it's because it is a very good robe. Like it is a very good.
Oh, the
like,
graduation set.
Yeah, it almost goes with
Oh.
everything.
I love the graduation set actually.
Or no, not graduation. Though it's or you get it from Eloise. It does kind of look like graduation set actually though, but
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, that one it is because it almost matches with everything that you put with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also, and I don't know if you guys have done the side quest, but the Savage or the Savage Beast side quest, and where you get the badge Savage Beast, it is so funny.
All right, Brandon.
And also, the scuba team, the SEALs team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think all of the enemies, like everything, is just it's so fun.
And also the rat, the final boss there. Oh my god, it is so good.
Yeah, when it's like, haha, I'm actually just like Rasputin, but like I'm actually Ratputin.
Dude, I love the Sky Anchor fight. I just love the Titan, like the Crystal Titans. Like I just love their aesthetics. Like they look so cool.
Alright, so
yeah. So for me, Polaris is like there's lots of snow and shit. It's pretty. When you go into Polaris, you're super overpowered. So you blade and you 7 pip AoE and you crit and you do a bunch of damage and it's great. It's fun. It's a nice breeze. It's a great breeze through the game.
Oh my god,
pretty.
no, and coming from Chrysalis and Azteca, oh my god, it feels so nice.
It's like literally.
It's heaven. It's heaven.
So the one thing that I know a lot of people won't actually experience this, but since I was a solo death, I didn't have that really good damage. So I would always triple blade Scarecrow, and that would always kill. But it's because I had the Atlantean pet, so it gave sharpened blade. I had normal sharpened blade, and then I had item sharpened blade. So that's 350 blades.
Wow.
Okay, damn.
Yeah, trust me. I knew how to triple or 350 blades and basically do 10,000 damage with Scarecrow.
Damn.
But this was before Polaris enemies got hit with the nerf, with the 20% health nerf. Because there were some enemies there that had, or some bosses that had 10k health or 15k health that you had to do. And since I was deaf, I was mostly soloing the world. But it was the first time that they actually gave enemies a brain for buffing. Because most of the ice enemies, they will blade, and then do a TC blade, and then a sharpened blade, and then hit you and do about 2,000 damage with their hit. Because they use 3 different blades instead of stacking the exact same blade over and over, and then just hitting you.
All right. Well, not to cut you off, but again, we still have a few more worlds left, so we would like.
Yeah, I know,
again,
Polaris,
easily.
Pog
Polaris
World,
is Pog World.
Yep.
Pog
Above Wisteria, or should it?
Above Wisteria. If you don't put it above Wisteria, you're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, BlooFusion, I don't know.
I don't know.
Ivan though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, so after Polaris is the
Arcanum. Okay, this might just be me, but I like Ravenwood better.
You like Ravenwood better?
I think it's mainly just the professors. I think obviously like the professors in Ravenwood are just so much more iconic. And also I feel like it's so much more diverse there because in the Arcanum it's always go to Ione, go to Ione, go to Ione, go to Ione, go to Ione.
Yeah, that is kind of true. You do go to Ione a lot.
There's like a few times where you go to the death one. See, I can't even remember her name. I can literally only remember Ione, and I can only remember Ione and Ignis, and like Xander.
The death one is Kisma.
Yeah, I can only remember like the 3 because those are like the only 3 that like go on quests very much. Like
and also Fitzhugh. You can't forget.
Yeah, Fitzhugh. Yeah, Fitzhugh's like Fitzhugh's iconic.
The hero of Unicorn Way.
But I don't know. For me, I feel like Arcanum just like the only thing I will say that's pog about Arcanum is the fact that the potion vendor is like right there.
And also Sybil. Sybil is interesting. Dude, yes. But I love the Arcanum just how it looks, and also the black hole that's right outside the window. And also you get the Arcanum.
Okay, I will say in terms of look, I like it better than Ravenwood, but in terms of like NPCs and just like overall vibe, I just think Ravenwood's a lot more iconic for sure.
I love the space theme of it, and I love how I love the lore behind the Arcanum itself. It's really cool. It's like
the knowledge center. It's the knowledge center.
they just seem so powerful, and I love the fact that they give off that vibe. It's really nice.
Mhm.
For me, I'm
So I'd
saying
say the
decent.
Arcanum is a good world. It's a good world. Above Darkmoor or above
Yeah.
Mushu, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's a good world only because I actually really love the divide spells, and also it's actually nice to see that the scholars actually kind of disclude the monstrology teacher, or not monstrology, the musicology teacher, which we'll get into him when we get to Caramel, and the shadow professor. They do not trust the shadow professor or anything of the Cabal room.
Yeah.
That I find interesting, but we'll get to there when we get into story. And it's also nice that when you start into Mirage, you get Trickster.
Yeah.
Like, everyone gets Trickster. That is a cool thing, but only a few class actually very benefit from it. And it's nice that you have to do 3 fights in the Arcanum. Like, there are the 3 fights that you have to do. You have to fight the boombox. You have to fight the one like dueling guy just to even be a part of the Arcanum, like to actually get initiated into it, and the Trickster.
Yeah. Well,
But I will say the crafting quest puts Arcanum from being Pog down to a good, because I fucking hate that quest.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's good above Mushu, right?
I mean, I said decent, but you know.
For me, it is the highest good worlds. Like, for me, it's over Wizard City, Dragonspire, and Darkmoor.
But I think just for middle sake, it'd probably be like here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Mirage.
I also quested through Mirage pretty quickly. I again love like that kind of like whole like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mirage is kind of like an like. If you really think about Mirage, it feels like kind of like an in between, or like a combination of like Mushu and not well, I guess Croc. Like, it has Croc elements. It has like Mushu, Croc, and
Aquila
and
type of stuff.
and like
Only because
Aquila
of the
aesthetic.
snakes. The snakes from Aquila.
Yeah, and so I don't know why. I just really love the whole genie aesthetic, and I think it was so creative because like genies and magic, like we didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I mean, obviously we have what Ifrit,
like Ifrit,
but like that looks nothing like these guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it was just so freaking creative, and like Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. I don't like Mr. Clean.
I will say like it was also pretty decently difficult.
I did like the entrance to Istamboa, though. That was a very cool entrance.
Yeah. I mean, I also quested through it pretty quickly, so I...
And also, it is where you learn your divide spell, too. The one and only divide spell.
That kind of makes it want to go lower for me.
I really love that.
I love the animations, but like...
Yeah, but it's actually when they started giving each spell their own bubble, like their own like unique looking bubble. Like, for instance, Quizma, it looks like you're in or somewhere in the deep sands of Mirage, where she picks up the stuff. Like that type of sphere around it, where if you go into it, it has that certain aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't like Mirage because I soloed through all of it except for like the Scorpion fight and the big fights. So for me, it's a no. It just felt too long, and when I got to Istamboa, I'm like, I would just want to be done with this world. Like, I'm completely done with it. I didn't really like it. Like, yeah, Istar and Ozzy, they were memorable, but I don't really remember anything from Mirage other than Cats, the Grandfather Spider fight, and the Divide spells and Scorpion. That's the only things I really remember from Mirage.
Okay, I was gonna put it like in between these two these two guys personally.
I'd put it
Well, all right, Brandon. What do you think it is?
Mirage.
Yeah,
I like the desert aesthetic of it.
Or it's like what type of worlding? Like Pog, good, decently.
Yeah, I'd say you put it at the bottom of good.
Yeah. at the bottom.
It would probably be like the top of the good world if I didn't think it was a no.
Yeah, and I was thinking like here. So like if you think it's here.
To be honest, it is a decent world for like what it gives you, and kind of they start ramping up the difficulty of the enemies again. But other than that, I just don't like it. All right, Imp Part 1.
Yes. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's mostly an aerial jungle for the most part.
It really is.
And that kind of draws it back for me because there's not much variety when it comes to Part 1. But Part 2, we'll get to that.
Well, actually, Part 1 is the jungle, the Dwarven Ice and Cold world, the
I don't
city,
even remember that.
or the city, and Medulla. Medulla ends Part 1.
Yes.
So the squid.
I don't even. Oh, Xanadu. I just feel like everything that was.
Xanadu is Part 2. Xanadu is Part 2.
No,
I thought
it's Part 1.
No, it's both. It's both. It's both.
Wait, is it?
You start Xanadu in Part 1?
No, wait. What's that floating world? The floating rock world that you visit?
That's Part 2. That's Part 2.
Yeah, I know, but what is that area?
Aeroplanes or no? That's not.
No, it isn't aeroplanes.
It's that
like,
other.
I thought it was like
space, right?
It's right here. It's right here. It's right here in this.
The Part 3 picture.
Yeah, it's right there.
Reverie.
Oh, is that? Oh, is that? No. Reverie is where you go fight a headmaster.
Yeah. Wait. So what were you talking about then?
Like, so
Reverie's
see Part
Part 2.
2's picture. See the Part 2 picture.
That's like the cornfield
That's
stuff.
That's Part 2. That's Mandala.
Yeah, Mandala. Oh, okay. I thought that was Xanadu.
No, Xanadu is like this, like the city.
Xanadu?
It's Khan's place where he does the diggity dance. He does the diggity dance.
Yeah, I love that dance.
I just think Part 1 is inferior to Part 2 for me. I think
obviously
to be honest, I don't like Medulla. I just don't like the fight. Like, yeah, it's
for
cool
me,
that he mind medals everyone, but I just don't like. For me, Part 1 is there.
For me, like Part 1's like high meh, low decent.
For me, it's
I think it's a low decent.
Yeah. So we'll do bada bing bada boom just to be.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Part 2, I think. I honestly really loved Part 2.
For me, I am highly biased to Husk, Dream, and Titan's Trident.
Reverie is really nice.
Reverie is a good aesthetics. Husk, I just love the shadow creatures everywhere. Yeah. And also the fight with Rat and Scorpion. That was a really
creative.
Fun fight.
It's so creative.
Also Titan's Trident. I just love Titan's Trident. The final boss fight, it is a hard boss fight.
I will tell you right now, I've never raged in Wizard101. Like I've had rage moments where I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I died to that. But I have never been so pissed off at this game until Titans tried it. And for that reason, even though like some people might think that's like demeanor, that like actually like made me like invested into the game. Like for that like single moment when trying to beat that, because I literally would spend my entire life just trying to beat it for like hours, and until I did, which that glitch,
that glitch actually was added in when Caramel was added in. Funny enough,
that's really weird, but I don't know. I think for me, I'm really biased, and I really think it's high good Pog. Honestly.
Yeah, for me, it's middle good only because of Husk, Reverie, Dream, Titan's Trident in that final boss fight, or the final quote-unquote show fight when you fight the Ether Titan. That it finally makes you feel like a super powered.
It makes you feel like ridiculously powerful. Like you're fighting, you are in a conflict with the creators of the universe that you got sent to. That's so ridiculous to me.
And you become the Divine Paradox.
You become a Divine Paradox. Like to me, that title sounds really cool.
Yeah, it is.
I rock it on everybody. So yeah, I'd say it's a high good or Pog.
I think it's a high good, low Pog. But for me, it's middle good, only because of those three